What's up, Knight? Xantos here with another instructional video. Today I'm going to be giving a list on what I think the top 10 heroes are for essential progression in the game. This list is my opinion. I want people to keep that in mind. So if you disagree with my list and whatnot, that's fine. You can have an opinion too. These are just heroes that I personally use to get myself farther in the game, and I wanted to share my knowledge and heroes that I invested a lot of time in. The knowledge that I learned with that, I wanted to share that with the Knights in this game. So today we're going to be looking at a top 10 list of essential heroes to progression. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so first on the list today we're going to be looking at Sera. Sera is a troll type hero. Level-headed and cunning, Sera trained as an alchemist at the Guild of Alchemy. She was a brilliant student. Her deep knowledge of alchemy meant that the potions she used in the Battle of Archon were the most powerful on the battlefield. Now, Sera has a fairly powerful base power called Punish that can deal a lot of damage to enemies in the back row, and it's also strong versus stun. But I feel like this hero's true power lies in her rage. She's a fairly good healer. On my list of 10 heroes here, she is my secondary backup healer that I use in situations. 3 turns of protect on that rage 2, which is really handy. Taking 25% less damage for 3 turns is always nice. And on this hero's 4-star capability, she actually has the ability to increase healing from alchemist heroes by 20%, which I think is fairly useful. Pair her with, say, Inara, who has a base power heal and is also an alchemist. That's a 20% boost you'd be getting from that. So there's a little combo that you could use with her. So yeah, the number 10 spot goes to Sera. Next up on our list, taking the number 9 position, I have the hero Crusoe. Crusoe is an outlaw hero. Crusoe didn't want to be tied down to a particular cause or army. He just wanted to fight evil and injustice wherever there was a coin to be made. He fought in the most prominent battles of his time, but never hung around for the accolades. That's why I love Crusoe. He's just a badass that wants to fight. Now, on his base power, Chain Bolt, he has the ability to attack enemies in the back row, but also has the ability to stun, which I find very useful when facing off against the outlaw enemies in White Peak. Crusoe was definitely a hero that helped me get through White Peak initially. Without him, I don't think I would have been able to complete certain missions. Him being able to stun the outlaw enemies that have the ability to stun you in the back row was very handy. And also on his rage power, he has the ability to attack all enemies. So when facing the outlaw enemies in White Peak, Crusoe was definitely a hero that helped with that. And along with that, on his 4-star, he has the chance to inflict expose with his rage power. His rage power hits all enemies too, so having the chance to get all of those enemies on the field exposed at the same time is very handy. So taking the number 9 spot on the list, Crusoe, the Maverick Hunter. Coming in at number 8 on our list, we have the Milita hero, Rhiannon. Rhiannon grew up in a village that was being abused by a leader who had become a tyrant in his lust for power. When her father was punished for refusing to donate their last loaf of bread, she led the villagers in an uprising. Bit of a cheesy lore story, but don't let her lore story confuse you. This hero is a great back row attacker. Her base power, Long Shot, deals quite a bit of damage to all the enemies in the back row. Being able to attack all enemies in the back row with a base power is huge. This hero helped me out a ton when I first entered into the Realm of Fire. The Milita enemies at the introduction of the Realm of Fire are fairly difficult. Some of the mages in the back row have the ability to inflict you with poison and acid, so being able to take them out quickly was very handy, and that's a reason I like this hero so much. Her rage power as well deals damage to all enemies on the field, and if you get this hero to 5 stars, her base power actually also has the chance to inflict acid to anyone that she hits in the back row. She seems like a really, really high damage dealing back row attacker that's strong against Milita, and because of that, I really like this hero, and she takes the number 8 spot on the list. Coming in at number 7 on our list, we have Dvalin, the pint-sized hero that packs a punch. Dvalin is a demon hero, and living in the mountains north of White Peak, Dvalin was the greatest king of the dwarven clans. When neighboring Fairyland fell to the Dark Ones, Dvalin ordered his forge master to imbue his great axe with demon-slaying properties, and came to the Alfair's aid. To this day, most demons still fear to travel west beyond the Alsund Pass. So essentially, demons are scared of this little wee guy. And that's because he is a very, very strong hero against them. His base power Piercer has the ability to deal damage to your current target. So whatever target is right in front of you that you're facing, he attacks that one and that one only with his base power. But it has the ability to deal poison and deals damage, quite a bit of poison damage to them for 3 turns afterwards. This is handy because all demon enemies, I believe, are weak to poison. So that poison damage for 3 turns on top of them, it's very, very handy. And on this hero's rage power, he actually attacks all enemies on the field and restores your health and armor by the same amount. So he's actually a great damage dealing hero and healing hero. If you're facing off against a whole bunch of enemies dealing a bunch of damage at once, that's a bunch of health that you're going to be getting back at the same time too. And his 5-star capability actually boosts critical chance against demon enemies by 50%. So if you're looking for a demon slaying hero, Dvalin is very accessible to you. Once you enter the Realm of Fire, his hunt costs a little bit more, but he's a great hero to help you finish off the content that they currently have in the game. So yeah, because of that, Dvalin takes number 7 on the list. Alright, coming in at number 6 on the list, we have the very beautiful hero, Delphina. Delphina is a undead hero. Delphinia's people were known for their peaceful ways and love in nature. However, their gentle dispositions beled their fierce dedication to maintaining the balance of nature, and Delphina was no exception. Seeing the undead as the ultimate insult to the great balance, she would lead her people to victory against them with a fierce cry and a well-placed arrow. I really like that hero's lore. She's got a pretty cool backstory. Delphina is a damage-dealing powerhouse, and she has awesome built-in perks with her as well. Her base power Stake Shot deals a ton of damage to your current target, also has the chance to weaken them for 3 turns, reducing their damage by 25%. But this hero's rage power is phenomenal. She attacks all enemies on the field, and also removes the enemy's powers that they currently have. This is great when you're facing off against mage powers in the back row that are going to hit you with acid, or enemies that are going to buff other enemies. I actually find Delphina super useful against guild bosses. When I'm facing off against guild bosses, I bring her, and I save her rage for when the guild boss gets his power, which is normally a fairly large damage dealing attack. And if I can avoid that by using her rage power against him when he gets his rage, it's super useful. This hero's 5-star capability is a 50% critical chance against undead enemies, which is also huge because she is also an undead enemy, or undead hero. So because of that, Delphina is taking my level, or my place 6 on my top 10 heroes. I want to also note that the new hero Garen that was introduced with this event is super useful as well. Garen also has the ability to delay, but with his base power instead of his rage. However, I'm making this list based on accessibility, and once this event is over, Garen will be much less accessible. So therefore, Delphina is taking the number 6 spot because of her accessibility. Alright, we are currently halfway through the list of my top 10 heroes, and taking the number 5 spot, I have the hero Inara. And you may be asking yourself, why is this hero that I've had from the very start of the game at number 5 on this list? The timing that you get heroes doesn't really matter in the game. Some of the most useful heroes I find were heroes that I got from the beginning of the game, that I was able to utilize in the Realm of Fire to really get me through the last portions. Inara is a undead hero. When Southern Plains people heard of the Battle of Archon, they sent their most skilled alchemist to help. Inara lived to fight and gave her life to keep the Dark Ones at bay. So Inara was a great hero that gave her life to save people. Her base power has the ability to heal for you, and also gives you 1 turn of Protect. Now, 1 turn of Protect might not seem super useful, but if an enemy is about to launch a big power at you, you don't have a rage power that's capable of protecting you for 3 turns at the time, throwing down that 1 turn of Protect can really come in handy. Reducing the damage by 25% for even a turn can really help you out. And this hero's rage power is really good too. So for his solutions, deals damage to all enemies on the field and burns them as well. This hero really helped me out with the undead enemies in the Realm of Fire. Being able to burn all of the enemies in the front and back row at the same time was huge for me. She really helped me out in the Realm of Fire specifically to help push me through the last portions of the game that I needed to. Her 4-star capability is a 50% damage boost to enemies afflicted with the exposed status, which, to be honest with you, I don't use too much. But if you had exposed chance circle charm in your weapon and also utilized it with this hero, that you could deal a lot more extra damage with her rage power against enemies that were exposed. She's a really good useful hero that you get right at the start of the game that I would highly advise 4-starring. Her hunt's not too hard to run. You can do it fairly easy, and yeah, because of that, Inara takes number 5 on the list. Alright, entering the top 4 on the list, we have the hero Erin. Erin is a cult hero, and don't let this guy's attitude fool you. He can be very useful as a hero. Erin's parents belonged to the cult of Gagan, so he grew up believing their ideals and never questioned when a non-believer was killed. A random encounter with a wise old woman made him realize the horror of his way of life. Ever since, he has sworn to wipe them out. So Erin was a bad guy. Erin was a cult dude initially, and his parents were cult as well. And he grew up murdering people and whatnot, and didn't question it whatsoever until one day he decided to become a good guy and take out the people that he grew up with. So I kind of like him. He's a bad guy gone good. Erin is a huge damage dealing hero again. His poison arrows has the ability to attack all enemies in front of you and ignore armor. So that hits the enemy directly in front of you in the front row, as well as the enemy directly in front of you in the back row. And the 3 turns of poison on top of that is very handy. Dealing that extra damage for 3 turns on top with status ailments is always great. And along with his poison, he has Acid Barrage, which inflicts acid to all enemies on the field and also deals a huge portion of damage to them. Now, when you mix acid and damage and poison together, you're just getting huge amounts of status ailments on your enemies, and their health just drops. And that's why I love this hero so much. Along with his 4-star capability, his rage power deals 50% more damage to enemies afflicted with the poison status. Now, he has poison on his base, so once you use his base power, his rage power is going to be dealing 50% more damage right off the bat. So because of that, this hero is great at working with himself, and because of that, he takes number 4 on my list. I really like this hero. Alright, arriving at number 3 on our list, we have the very cool and very calm hero Tristan. He is a golem hero. Tristan was a commanding officer in Queen Creda's army. He preferred the bow to the sword and was known for always being the last to leave the battlefield. He tended to the wounded of both his enemies and allies, and always treated his troops kindly. I like that about Tristan. He's a good guy. He's a healer, no matter if you're friend or foe. Now, Tristan's base power is really useful. Restores a ton of health to you, but the real power in it lies in the ability to cure all negative status effects. And along with this, if you get Tristan to 4-star level, his base power gives you 3 turns of Protect as well. So he is an incredible healer, capable of healing you, removing all status ailments, and giving you 3 turns of 25% reduced damage. How can you go wrong with a hero that great? Like, he's got you covered on the battlefield. He'll make sure you're in fighting fit and ready to always take on your enemies. And if we bounce on over to his rage power, Arrow of Light, it's an attack that deals damage to all enemies on the field. It also grants you with 3 turns of Regenerate. So again, on his rage power, he's there healing you up, trying to give you more health. And yeah, we'll just go in and take a peek at his 4 stars as well. I already explained it a little bit, but yeah, on his base power, you gain Protect for 3 turns. It's quite the phenomenal base power, and because of that, Tristan takes number 3 on the list. Alright, coming in at number 2 on my list, I have a hero who has been by my side in almost every battle I have been in Knighthood. It is the very awesome, the very beautiful Titania. Titania is a beast hero. Titania was an Alfear princess, distinguished as royalty by her shimmering wings. It is said that our tales of fairies originate with the winged Alfear of old. Long before the Battle of Archon, she discovered the portal of the Dark One's realm and sealed it with magic. However, the seal did not last forever. So Titania seems like she has quite a bit of lore and quite a bit of a role in the history of the game. Titania is an amazing healer, if not, in my opinion, the best healer that is accessible to all players in the game right off the bat. Her base power, Phase Gift, is a huge healing base power. It also gives you Regenerate, and that grants you with a ton of health for 3 turns afterwards as well. Her rage power, Lunar Light, can also restore you with a ton of health and grants you with 3 turns of Protect, giving you 25% less damage for 3 turns. Now, if we bounce on over to this hero's 4-star capability, you actually gain a chance to have Focus with this hero's base power, boosting your attack and critical hit rate. Titania is great. She keeps you healed. She makes you stronger in battle. She's just an absolutely amazing hero that, in my opinion, is 100% essential to your progress in the game. You should definitely 4-star her as soon as you can. Her hunt's super easy to run. Definitely focus that right off the bat as soon as you get her. And Titania comes in at number 2 on the list because she is just that phenomenal. Coming in at the number 1 spot on this list of heroes, we have the amazing hero Bordrai. Bordrai is a cult hero. Bordrai fought bravely in the Battle of Archon. He wore the red robes and the crown of a blood mage, which meant his morals were sometimes questionable. But he knew true evil when he saw it, and was determined to avenge it. Bordrai is amazing. He has the highest damage dealing capabilities of any hero in the game, and the thing that's awesome about this hero is he's a legendary hero that is accessible consistently to you. The best way to get Bordrai shards is definitely going into the guild shop and just buying him outright. You can buy 50 shards at a time. I would definitely say focus buying those shards until you can get him to full star. I'm almost there with him. I believe I need another 250 shards with him, and I'll have him at full star. He'll be my first legendary hero at full star because his shards are so accessible. Now, if we're going to take a look here at his base power, Wall of Fire, it deals a bunch of damage to enemies in the front row, and also burns them, which deals a bunch of burn damage to them again for 3 turns afterwards. But if we want to look at this hero's real power, it lies in his rage power, Blood Magic. It distributes a whopping, a ridiculous amount of damage to all enemies on the field. Now, one thing you have to take into consideration with this is you'll be taking 16% of the total damage to your health as well. So you got to be careful not to deal too much damage, or else you might take a bit of a hit to your health yourself. You have to be careful while using this hero. And if we go in and look at his 6-star capability, you can increase damage dealt by burn status effects by 100%. That is huge. This hero's 6-star capability is amazing. He's very accessible, very good for you. Very essential for your progress, I would say, in Arena, mainly. Since using Bordrai in Arena, I flatten every single enemy that I come across. As soon as I get my rage power, I launch Bordrai's big, what's it called, blood magic attack, and it's normally lights out for the enemies. They can't handle that much damage at once, and because of that, Bordrai comes in at number 1 on the list. What's up, Knights? That wraps up things today. I hope you enjoyed this list. Again, this was just my opinion. If you disagree with the heroes that I chose for my top 10, that's fine. Again, everyone plays the game differently. These were just the heroes that I used to get myself farther in the game, that I invested the time in, and that I really enjoyed using. I hope you enjoyed. I've really been enjoying making the instructional videos. We're having a really fun time making them here. Getting a great response. I've never got this much of a great response from the community. So again, if you're enjoying, smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed, you'll be notified whenever I go live streaming, and whenever I post new videos. And yeah, again, I really hope you enjoyed today, and thanks for tuning in. Xantos, stay grinding, Knights.